Hello, this is a continuation of the other video of my questions and answers. This is the bonus segment per se, because there are so many questions apparently that 10 wasn't just enough. So I don't mind answering questions. You know, there are a pretty good amount of questions here. We'll get right off on the bat here. Question 11. /1, however you want to take it. Why is it on all of your videos that comments are always disabled? Good question. And for a long time I've actually wanted to explain that. I haven't found an opportunity that would be a good format to explain that, because my topics usually don't involve something that would include that. So to answer that question, why are on all my videos are the comments disabled? It's a very, believe it or not, a simple answer to that. And it's because if you go to, a lot of videos on YouTube, especially the more popular ones, that have thousands of subscribers or whatever, but a majority of YouTube videos that you'll watch either has 0 comments or a lot of comments or a few comments or whatever, but it's usually one or the other. But you'll see that a majority of them are just hate comments. Now, I'm not someone that's going to want to deal with that shit. I don't want to have those types of negative people and their negative bullshit on my videos. I prefer to just I say my thing. If you like it, you hit the like button. You don't like it, instead of leaving a bigotry-filled comment of Christian extremism or feminism or whatever, I don't allow them to do that. They don't have the chance to, so all they have is to press the dislike button. It makes the whole process just a lot easier for everybody. You like it, you like and agree with what I'm saying, you hit the like button. You hate and vehemently disagree with what I'm saying, you press the dislike button. That simple. I'm not going to read or deal with your hate, and no one's forcing you to watch my videos, so either you move on, or you hit the dislike button and move on, or you like what I'm saying and agree with what I'm saying, hit the like button and subscribe type deals. So it's a very simplistic reason as to why. It's just, I don't want to allow trolls or feminists, the extremists, or extremists of any kind to just, run rampant on the comment section of my videos. I don't feel as if it's worthwhile to even allow that to even happen. So that is why I refuse to allow comments. Bonus question number 2, aka 12. What makes you an atheist, a Buddhist, a person of science, and a martial artist all in one? Some of these clash in belief with one another, do you know? Yes, I'm completely aware that atheism and Buddhism do clash, and a few other of my beliefs. There are some that may even contradict or seem hypocritical. So that's a very, very good question, actually. What makes me an atheist? What makes me an atheist is the complete lack of evidence. It sounds cliche, but if there was truly a God, this individual would show themselves to every non-believer or believer, because if this God person really wanted the whole world to believe in him, he would just show himself in a physical way. He would, in some sort of crazy way, make sure that people knew that it was him. Like, he would show from the sky, or he would wrap his face around the whole world sky and be like, I am God, I am real. Or have some sort of way where he would make it 100% unambiguously clear that he is real. No, I'm not saying in the form of, well, God is nature or whatever. I'm talking about the whole God is creator thing. he would show himself either in human form or in some sort of extreme way, like what I was saying with the whole face thing or what have you, or something of the sort, where he would make it 100% abundantly clear that he is real, or she, depends. So yeah, the lack of evidence, and with all the crap that goes on in the world, and all the disharmony, and just the egregiousness that is today's world, a good God, a nice God, a compassionate God, would not allow for this world to become what it has. So, I mean, just by how the world is, that of its own right just makes it more and more clear that God cannot be real. There are multiple other reasons, however, those are the two starter reasons, I guess I should start out with, without making this video just an atheistic video. So I'll just leave it at that. What makes me a Buddhist? Now, this could be considered biased. However, I got into Buddhism when I got into martial arts. It was incorporated in the learnings, in the studies, in the teachings. So maybe there's a slight bias, a slight slant because of the fact that I love martial arts, and therefore maybe I was inclined to like Buddhism. However, even if I wasn't in martial arts and it wasn't incorporated, just by reading about it, just by experiencing what it's all about, I can give 100% certainty just by being a good person. Just by being a good person, a non-martial artist, just on the aspect of just being a good person who cares about others, I can 100% guarantee that if I was introduced to Buddhism before martial arts, I would still love it and be as passionate about it as I am now. So with that being said, what got me into Buddhism was, of course, with the help of martial arts, but I studied it, I read about it, I watched videos about it, I did, a thorough whole research, everything, you can think about it. And I've been with some Buddhist people, and I love everything about it. It just seems like the perfect thing that anyone could ever get themselves into. If you want a world of peace, of compassion, of love, of enlightenment, of everything good that you would want this world to be, you'd be a Buddhist. You would want Buddhism to be the hierarchy of all things. There is no extremist Buddhists. You never hear about Buddhists going down the street saying, "Yeah, I hate gays." No, we're accepting of everyone. It's all about compassion. It's all about, accepting suffering and knowing that, to accept suffering for what it is, but don't let it affect you. These types of things. There's a lot that play into it, and I don't want to turn this into a Buddhist video, so I'm going to leave it at just read about it, learn about it, and really do your due diligence on it, and you will 100% understand from a person who cares about others and is compassionate about humans in general, that Buddhism is definitely the way for world peace. Not only for yourself, inner peace, but for outer peace as well. Number 13. Bonus question number 3. What would you consider your channel's primary focus on? I.e. gaming, vlogs, etc. Well, that's a good question, but it has a simple and quick, response. My channel's primary focus is nothing. I don't have a primary focus. It's YouTube is generally what I consider to be my journal, my expression type, literally like a digital journal. I get my ideas out there. Although I do consider it a journal, it's out to the public, obviously. So it's kind of like, writing my journal and then being like, as I walk down the street, anyone can read it. So I do all topics on anything and everything that I want. So that's why there's gaming, there's rants, there's advice, there's, bicycle point of views, there's marches, protests, you name it, I got at least, one of it, So I don't have a particular focus. Number 14. With all, or aka, bonus question for it. With all that is being said about Traverse City, do you think it's a good place to live, or is it just bad in every way? Well, as stated in my original Q&A, as much as I talk bad about Traverse City, it's not that bad of a place beyond the social aspect. The scenery is beautiful. The events are quaint. The downtown area is nice. You have the perfect mix of forest and industrial, of city and woodland. So, you have, it's not like Chicago, Detroit, Los Angeles, etc., etc., etc. It's not just freaking city and industrial land. It's a good mix of both. I mean, I can look outside my window here and I can see trees everywhere, but I can also see a good amount of mix of buildings and companies and such too. I see a river, I see buildings, and I see so many trees and so much grass. It's like the perfect mix. Then of course, the more that you go out of the main areas of Traverse, the more forest that you see, the more woodland that you see. Hell, you can go in the middle of one of the main industrial places around here, and by going to Logan's Landing, it's like in the centerfold type deal where, all around it on the outer areas is city and industrial and roads and so on and so forth. But in this middle area called Logan's Landing, it's got this beautiful water, lake, connecting out to the ocean. But yeah, this big nice river, and all in it is just pure trees, forest, with, some highly expensive houses, mind you, but there are houses in there, but 99% of it is forest and woodland and lake. So it's that perfect mix. So it's got extremely low crime rate, so you're least likely to be killed, robbed, hurt, injured, whatever. There aren't very many extremists, and so in general, it's a pretty good place to live, especially if you're retired and you just want to live your life in a relaxed environment type deal. Then this is the perfect place for you. So, for as much as I talk bad about Traverse, it's actually not too bad of a place. I just dislike the people more than I do the city. Bonus question number 5, aka 15. You have a lot of concert videos. Which was your favorite, and what is your favorite genre? Good question. As can be seen, I have a variety mix of different concert videos. Which one was my favorite? Believe it or not, my favorite was the Seether one. I absolutely love Seether. And the bands that preceded before Seether as well. They were awesome. What is my favorite genre? My favorite genre is, by all means, the base of all my music interests, 90s music. And when it comes to 90s music, I don't have any slants in any direction. I like all across the board all music from the 90s. Pop music, rock music, heavy metal music, death metal. It wasn't as popular back then, but there was some. Soft rock, classic, every single genre that existed in the 90s, I liked it. Even the rap and the R&B. The secondary to that, of course, would be grunge music and the heavier stuff like death metal. But in my spare time, the majority of what I listened to is 90s music and, things like that. It's as much of a goth that I am, I don't really listen to death metal as much as I used to, or that I should be, So yeah, it's definitely the grunge and 90s music that really takes my interests. Number 16, bonus question 6. What is your reason or purpose behind making videos? Good question, actually. Good question indeed. The reason and the purpose behind me making videos, it isn't to, be an extremist and try to change people's minds on things. The purpose and the reason behind it is none in particular, actually. I just make these videos to make them. Just for shits and giggles, or just because I feel like it. There's a little bit of a purpose and reason being that, it's my journal, it's my personal little way to get out my ideas, my thoughts, my beliefs. And it also, I hope, gets people to thinking about what, their beliefs are. Like if a Christian ends up watching my video, maybe it will get a Christian to think about. Not trying to change or force my beliefs, but just think about it. Same with the feminists, same with Traverse City people. Just everything that I talk about, I'm not trying to forcibly change them. I'm just wanting them to think. Think it from both ends, That's that. Bonus question 7, aka 17. You post a lot about atheism and anti-religion. Should a Christian come up to you and want to talk religion, are you like how you are in your videos? Good question. I can understand why you'd want to ask that. As explained in my other video, in my Q&A, no, I am not how I am in my videos. Actually, I'm quite the opposite. I will respectfully sit, look in the eyes, and patiently listen to understand, and try to understand where they're coming from, and respond respectfully and courteously and considerately of who they are and what they believe. I am not aggressive, I'm not hostile, I'm not using ad hominems, meaning I'm not attacking their character, I'm attacking the topic slash what we're debating about, rather than saying, you're a fucking moron. No, I don't go off on them. In other words, I respectfully talk about the subject with which we speak of in a very calm manner and present myself, I can compose myself. I'm very, very, very professional, in other words. I treat it as a business meeting, that type of thing. Bonus question number 8, aka question 18. If you had just a quick saying of inspiration or advice, what would it be? Well, if I just had one quote to say, it would be, love is nothing without action. Trust is nothing without proof. And sorry is nothing without change. Quite frankly, I think it speaks for itself, and although it may have ambiguous reasonings or perspectives, I think it speaks for more than paragraphs of words. Question number 9, aka bonus 19. Who are your role models or people that you look up to or like enough to consider close to being those things, at least see as good enough to be worthwhile to mention as being respectable or a good person that is good for the world? Believe it or not, I'm not asked that very often, so it took me a while to actually think about it, but obviously I'd start out with the simple, obvious ones, the Dalai Lama and the Buddha. Excellent role models, definitely people I'd want others to emulate. Other people would include people like Triple H. All things aside of his career, of what he's done as a wrestler, outside his wrestling persona and such, he's actually an amazing person that does so much more than you could ever know. And the more that you find out about Triple H, who he is outside of the WWE and his Hunter Hearst Helmsley persona, and the more that you find out about who Paul is, you'll understand exactly where I'm coming from. And quite frankly, those are the people that kind of just come right to my mind. I'd really have to sit down and really pick a top 5. That might be another video, but as it stands right now, just coming to my head right away, those would definitely be the top few people there. Number 10, bonus question number 20. With a majority of your videos about women being negative, are there any females that you think are good role models or good for inspiration or just in general a good woman to emulate? Good question. I am glad you asked that. Because you're right, I probably do not mention women enough in a positive manner because I'm so busy fighting feminism and talking about Traverse City females. So I'll get right to the answer. I had to, I pre-typed these answers because I did not want to, any of them to slip my mind or anything. The first woman that comes to my mind, and those that know me should see this coming right off the bat, is Jill Wagner from ABC's Wipeout. Some know her from a car commercial, but she is best known for her ABC Wipeout commentary. Jill Wagner is unassuming. She's pretty with a girl next door look and a killer body on her. Now I'm not, so much about superficiality and physical appearance, but it's a nice little thing as an added touch, so I will mention that. Anyways, she also seems to have a great personality and isn't some uppity cunt like most of the Hollywood whores are. She's got a nice, clean cut look and the kind of gal you could take home to your mom. And I cannot even begin to amplify and really go on about how important it is about what I just mentioned. This woman is famous. She, has money. She is very popular, very much liked, but yet she hasn't let the money go to her head, the fame go to her head. She's a wonderful woman with exceptional personality. She is, and like I said before, she doesn't whore herself out, she's got self-respect, she's got pride, she's got everything a woman should have in her characteristics. Absolutely unassuming. And with her personality, her laugh, her positivity, everything about Jill Wagner to me is the absolute perfection in the female feminine form. We're talking every aspect of Jill Wagner to me is absolutely perfect. There is no flaw to me in Jill Wagner. From her personality, to her looks, to how she is, everything. It doesn't matter from how she dresses, to how she talks, to how she laughs. Everything is perfect. Nothing to me is wrong with her. She is the perfect person to emulate and be like. The next individual would be Stephanie McMahon. No, don't say it's because she's married to Triple H, because that's not the fact. The reason that I say Stephanie McMahon is not because she's a super billionaire because of her dad or whatever. The reason that I say it is because although she does get to live a privileged life, she also earns everything she gets. She's earned her spot and her rank in the WWE. Just because she was the daughter of the man himself that owns the company doesn't mean that it was just handed to her. She actually did have to earn her way up. And the more you find out about Stephanie McMahon outside of her persona or her character, and the more that you learn really who Stephanie is, the more that you'll see that she's a hard-working woman. And she does so much for women. I mean, as a woman viewer or what have you, y'all should totally be into her and support what she does for women, for the female talent, and for people in general. We're talking from cancer to children to fundraisers, you name it. Stephanie McMahon has either funded it or spoke about it or done something in some positive manner. She's made a good impact, and she's putting the money that she earns and the fame that she has to good use. And no matter how privileged you are, if you're doing good shit like that, by all means, that should be something that you should look forward to being like, and someone who you should try to emulate. The next person might catch a few off guard, but Hillary Duff. Might be surprised, like, wait, what? Why Hillary Duff? Well, quite frankly, she's another person who has not let money go to her head, nor has she turned into a fucking crazy cokehead, being a former Disney star like a lot of the others have. She keeps her name and her business out of the media, out of the news, and compared to like people like Miley Cyrus and other people like that, Hillary definitely lives a rather private lifestyle, and that's very respectable and very hard to do as a famous person. However, she's done many good things for the world, and she's a very good person from what I understand, and she has not let her fame or money go to her head. She's an amazing person, and again, someone you should emulate, especially should you become, famous later on. Follow her lead, her example. Be a good person, stay out of the media, don't let the fame and the money go to your head. She's multi-talented, she's been in movies, music, the whole 10 yards, but she still lives a good, decent, appropriate, humble life.